Welcome back. It's day 8 of the government shutdown, and neither side is budging. So what would Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal do to end the stalemate? He is here right now, hopefully with some answers.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
How happy are you're not a member of Congress today?
Well, I was there for 3 years. I have no desire to go back. And I'd say a couple of things. One, all the focus is on the debt ceiling. It's on the crisis of the day. We were in the same crisis 2 years ago. The real crisis is not the debt ceiling, it's the debt. It's the fact that, when the president was a senator, he complained we were near $9 trillion of debt.
Unpatriotic.
Now we're near $17 trillion of debt. And the reality is, if they keep kicking the can down the road, nothing is going to get solved. Republican governors across the country, we're required to balance our budgets. We're doing it without raising taxes. We're cutting government spending. We're growing the private sector economy. We're not seeing real leadership out of the White House. Think about it. He was elected to confront the big challenges of the day. He's not doing that.
And, Governor, you can't do it in September. I mean, you can't do it in September and say we're in a deadline, you have to go past something or not pass something, or Obamacare's here. You got to be working that in the spring. Do you think there's enough Republicans to work with the president to get something big done?
Absolutely. If the president will show leadership. Look, remember the last time we had a big domestic policy change, one of the last times, under President Clinton, we had welfare reform. We had a Republican Congress. The president vetoed it twice. He didn't like it, but he found common ground. This president's not leading. It's his way or the highway. He simply tells the Congress, I'm not going to negotiate. I'm not going to change anything. That's not leadership. Where's his plan? He has not presented one budget that spends the amount of money we take in. Not this year, not next year, not the next 10 years. He never even pretends to balance the budget.
It's $1.2 trillion over budget.
That's right. And I'm not even saying pay back the accumulated $17 trillion, $16.7 trillion. I'm just saying pick 1 year where you say we're not going to spend more than we take in. Every American family has to do that. Every governor's doing that.
True.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're right. That's something that everyone's asked to do, yet we're not seeing leaders who are doing it.
Well,
country. Do you think we're going to hit October 17th without resolution?
Well, nobody wants to see the government unable to pay its bills or unable to pay its debt. This is why we need leadership. And the reality is, you see conservative principles being applied across the country. One of the things, we've got 30 Republican governors. One of the things we have said is we want to take our brand back from Washington, D.C. There's so much dysfunction in D.C. The reality is, when you look at school choice, you look at public pension reforms, you look at taking on the public unions, you look at cutting government spending, it's happening in our state capitals, not happening in Washington, D.C. It's an important contrast.
Well, let's combine state capitals with Washington, D.C., because the Department of Justice is taking you to court over, it seems like, better schools for minority students.
This is the most ridiculous lawsuit. Eric Holder, President Obama's administration, has taken us to federal court. We've got a scholarship program that allows the dollars to follow the students instead of forcing the students to follow the dollars. 100% low income, 100% from C, D, or F failing schools, over 90% minority, 93% of the parents are happy. The parents get to choose better schools for their kids. They cited 2 facts. 6 kids in St. Martin Parish would otherwise be in an F school. 5 kids in Tangible Hope Parish would otherwise be in a D school.
So the kids can move around.
That's right. Let these parents go to choose so their kids can go to better schools. They want us to go to a federal judge for over 1,000 of these kids to get permission. Here's the irony. Eric Holder, President Obama, they wouldn't send their children to these failing schools. They shouldn't force Louisiana parents to send their kids to these failing schools.
All right, so that's what you're fighting for, and it helps minorities, and Eric Holder's fighting against you. Now let's talk about what also your new initiative launched by your group, the Republican Governors Association.
This is the American comeback story. We've got 30 great Republican governors, unemployment 1% lower than in states led by Democratic governors, eliminated $65 billion in debts. They're applying conservative principles. I think voters across the country want to see conservative outcomes. We're seeing it in state capitals. We've got a great story to tell. We're running online digital ads to tell people that Republican conservative principles work.